Women will inevitably miss you deeply when you do this. Stoicism, imagine this. What if the secret to making someone miss you was to simply do nothing? Sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. You don't need to chase, convince, or plead. In fact, one of the most powerful ways to leave a lasting impression on a woman often lies in something profoundly simple: your absence. In today's video, we're exploring powerful techniques that leave a woman thinking about you long after you've parted. These strategies are grounded not only in modern psychology, but also in the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that values emotional control, restraint, and the understated power of minimalism. The Stoics understood the impact of detachment and how it can create lasting influence, and that's exactly what we're going to delve into today. By the end of this video, you'll have a fresh perspective on attraction and why it can actually deepen when you master these subtle, seemingly paradoxical moves. So, if you're curious about leaving a lasting impression without saying a word, keep watching. This approach just might change how you view attraction. If you're enjoying this type of content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss an insight. Let's dive in. Number 1. The phantom presence. Disappearing without explanation. Let's begin with a concept I like to call the phantom presence. What does that mean? It's the art of being just enough in her life to be memorable, but staying distant enough that she misses you when you're gone. Imagine being a gentle echo in the background, present enough to leave her wondering yet just out of reach. This approach taps directly into a Stoic principle: detachment. The Stoics emphasized letting go of things outside of our control and focusing on self-mastery. When you step away without explanation, you're practicing this principle in a subtle yet impactful way. You're signaling that you don't rely on constant validation or attention. You're confident, content, and not tied to always being available. Picture this in action. You've been messaging regularly, maybe even seeing each other. Everything feels predictable. Then suddenly you go quiet. No morning text, no check-in. Just silence, no excuses or explanations. What happens next? She'll notice. Her mind will begin to work overtime, wondering why. Why the silence? Is he busy? Did I do something wrong? In that gap, she starts thinking about you more, and it's in these moments of absence that her attraction deepens. You've created a void that she naturally wants to fill. This approach works because of a simple truth. When there's an unresolved question, our minds can't help but focus on it. Your sudden absence becomes a puzzle, one she feels the need to solve. This makes you stand out as someone independent, at ease with silence, and unafraid to step back, qualities that are both unique and desirable. When you return, you do so from a place of strength, not out of manipulation or insecurity. True attraction doesn't come from overexposure, but from creating space that allows her to value your presence even more when you come back. By stepping back, you give her the opportunity to think about you, to miss you, and to appreciate what she had. And when you return, it feels like a refreshing reunion she didn't even realize she was craving. That's the beauty of becoming a phantom presence. It's not about vanishing entirely. It's about stepping away just enough that she feels your absence, letting her anticipation build, and making her treasure your presence all the more when you're back. So next time you're tempted to constantly reach out, remember, sometimes creating a little distance can have a more profound impact than always being there. It's about creating space, letting the mystery grow, and inviting her to come to you. Number 2. The unread message, leaving conversations unfinished. Let's dive into a concept that plays on a simple but powerful truth. We all crave closure. When a conversation stops mid-flow, especially if it's meaningful or engaging, it leaves a kind of mental itch, a lingering curiosity. For women, who often value emotional connection and communication, this effect can be even more pronounced. Picture this. You're texting her, and the conversation is flowing naturally. Maybe there's a bit of flirtation, or perhaps you're discussing something meaningful. The usual instinct might be to keep going, to sustain that momentum and connection. But here's where a unique approach comes into play. Leaving things unfinished. Choosing to pause at just the right moment creates intrigue, drawing her mind back to the conversation. It's like pressing pause on a song just before the best part. She's left wanting that next note, wondering what might come next. Here's where Stoic wisdom comes in. The Stoics valued restraint and silence, knowing that sometimes the most impactful action is to say nothing at all. Not every thought or feeling needs to be expressed immediately. There's power in holding back. In your case, leaving a message unread or taking a bit longer to respond is not about ignoring her. It's about letting curiosity take root. Imagine mid-conversation, you pause, leaving the message unread or responding a bit later. Done with the right intention, this isn't neglect. It's a calculated pause, a chance for her to notice the gap where she expected you. Her mind begins to wonder why you stopped. She replays your words, analyzing them, filling in blanks. This is when she starts to think about you even more than she expected, and suddenly you're no longer just another conversation. You're a mystery she wants to solve. This taps into a key aspect of attraction: anticipation. By leaving things a bit unresolved, you're inviting her to wonder about your next move, about what else there might be to know. This kind of pause, when used thoughtfully, actually creates emotional space, allowing desire to grow. But remember, this isn't about playing games or manipulation. It's about understanding communication rhythm and knowing when to step back. Just as the Stoics taught, strength sometimes lies in what we don't say. By showing restraint, you're giving her a chance to invest emotionally and to feel that space you left behind, often creating a deeper attraction. So, next time you're in a great conversation, resist the urge to keep it going endlessly. Let her wonder. Let her think about what's unsaid. You'll find that in those moments of silence, her thoughts will naturally turn to you, and she'll start missing your presence more than you'd expect. Before we move on, reflect for a moment. How often do you feel compelled to fill a silence to keep the conversation going? Imagine the impact of stepping back and intentionally leaving things unfinished. What if, instead of always being present, you gave her a reason to think about you in your absence? Drop your thoughts below or simply type, "Silence creates connection." Number 3. The mirror trick. Reflecting her desire back at her. This next technique taps into a unique dynamic that can shift how she sees you and, more importantly, how much she thinks about you. Imagine becoming a mirror for her emotions and energy, reflecting her vibe back without fully revealing your own desires. This subtle art, when done thoughtfully, is incredibly effective. It keeps her intrigued, wondering about you. Why does it work so well? It taps into a core part of human psychology. When someone feels they can't fully understand you, their curiosity spikes. It's why we're naturally drawn to mystery. The unknown holds a special power. There's something magnetic about the unknown. When a woman can't quite gauge how much she's affecting you, it plants a lingering curiosity in her mind. She starts wondering, what's happening here? Why isn't he responding like everyone else? How does he actually feel about me? This mystery becomes like fuel, keeping you in her thoughts even when you're not around. The more she thinks about you, the more intrigued she becomes, and that's where attraction quietly begins to build. Now, let's take a page from Stoicism to amplify this effect even more. The Stoics practiced a principle called apatheia, which is about emotional resilience. It's not about shutting down your feelings. Rather, it's about mastering them so that you aren't controlled by external circumstances. When you can keep your cool, whether in a high-stakes moment or a playful interaction, you not only maintain your own power, but also create an alluring sense of mystery. Picture this in action. She's flirting, expecting you to meet her energy and dive into the playful banter. Most people would respond instantly, matching her pace. But instead, you offer a calm smile, maybe a subtle nod, without fully engaging. This isn't game playing. It's about showing that you're not easily swayed. This simple act of restraint piques her curiosity. Wait, did I get his attention? Is he interested? Now she's replaying the interaction, trying to figure out what it will take to get a reaction from you, which keeps you on her mind long after the moment has passed. Here, you become a mirror, reflecting her energy without giving away your own thoughts entirely. You're a puzzle, something she can't easily solve, and human nature pushes us to resolve mysteries, especially when emotions are involved. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about grounding yourself in your own emotional balance, reflecting her energy without being overly transparent. By not giving her the full picture, she's left wanting to know more, drawn in by the hint of depth that you reveal only partially. This is where attraction really grows, in the space of intrigue and subtlety, guessing, and soon enough, you'll find her making the moves to uncover what's really going on with you. Number 4. Mastering emotional silence. The power of not reacting. One of the most unexpected ways to make a woman miss you is by choosing not to react to every emotional cue she sends your way. Instead of immediately responding, you create an emotional space that she subconsciously fills with thoughts of you. Relationships often thrive on reactions, whether joy, concern, or excitement. But by holding back and maintaining your composure, especially when it's least expected, you create a powerful dynamic that draws her in. Here's why this approach works. By not reacting to her emotional highs and lows, you create a kind of emotional mystery. We're wired to seek feedback in relationships, wanting to know the other person cares. But when you stay calm and centered, no matter what she says or does, it catches her off guard in a way that's captivating. Suddenly she's left wondering, why isn't he reacting? Why is he so composed? That emotional silence becomes a subtle yet compelling force. This restraint aligns perfectly with Stoic teachings on emotional control. The Stoics believed that while we can't control what happens to us, we're always in charge of how we respond. They emphasized the power of not letting external events dictate our internal state. Inner peace, they taught, is not just for self-preservation, but is also a presence others naturally gravitate toward. Imagine this. She shares something dramatic, perhaps venting about her stressful day or an emotional event. Most people might jump in with an immediate response, offering advice or matching her emotions. But you instead simply listen, staying grounded in the moment. This calm silence doesn't diminish your care for her, but instead creates a magnetic space, inviting her to wonder what's really on your mind. And in that wondering, she'll find herself thinking about you more deeply than before. The power of emotional composure. When you acknowledge her feelings while maintaining your own emotional balance, you don't dive into the drama or respond with intensity. You simply stay composed. What unfolds next is truly remarkable. She begins to take notice of your calm, steady demeanor, which stands out from the typical responses she encounters. This emotional silence leaves her pondering long after your conversation ends. She finds herself wondering why you remained so composed, why you didn't get swept up in the emotional whirlwind. Here's the interesting part, that calmness becomes something she starts to crave. She begins to miss the grounded energy you bring into the equation. In a world where many people overreact or become easily flustered, your steadiness is not just refreshing, it's downright attractive. It's something she can rely on, a quality that distinguishes you from others who might jump into the emotional chaos without a second thought. The real power emerges when she's not around you. She starts to miss that emotional stability. She realizes how rare it is to be with someone who can remain present and calm in any situation. That practiced emotional silence transforms into a potent force of attraction. She begins to associate you with peace, security, and self-assurance. In contrast to the emotional roller coasters she might experience elsewhere, your composed presence is something she yearns for. This emotional balance sets you apart. It prompts her to think about you when you're not around, wondering how you maintain your composure while others might falter. It's not just about making her miss you. It's about fostering a deeper sense of respect and attraction through your emotional intelligence and calmness. That's the true strength of mastering emotional silence. As we delve into the impact of emotional silence on relationships, take a moment to reflect on how you've handled similar situations. Have you reaped the benefits of emotional composure, or are you still striving to master it? Share your thoughts in the comments, or if you're seeking a simple starting point, just type "less is more." Your insights might inspire others on their journey toward emotional control and self-assurance. Number 5. The disappearing act, leaving at the peak of connection. The key here is to step away just when the connection is at its strongest. Most people tend to linger until the energy starts to fizzle out, letting moments naturally wind down. But if you choose to leave when everything feels electrifying, when she's fully engaged, that's when you make the biggest impact. It's a psychological move that creates an impression that lingers long after you've gone. This is where Stoicism comes into play. The philosophy encourages us to practice restraint and avoid overindulgence, even when we're tempted to extend a pleasurable moment. By stepping away at the peak of connection, you're fostering a sense of incompletion that ignites desire. Imagine this. You're on an amazing date. The chemistry is undeniable. The conversation flows effortlessly, and she's clearly enjoying every second. Instead of prolonging the night, you choose to leave earlier than she anticipated, right when everything is at its peak. You're not abandoning her. You're simply timing your exit perfectly. This way, you leave her with a lingering feeling, wondering when she'll see you again. That touch of unfinished business creates a sense of longing. Why does this approach work so effectively? Leaving at the height of connection plants a seed of curiosity and anticipation in her mind. She'll replay those moments, reflecting on how wonderful things were, and that's when she'll start to miss you the most. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding human psychology. People often crave what they can't have in the moment, and by stepping back at the right time, you're allowing her to feel that sense of incompletion, intensifying her desire for you. So, instead of waiting until the energy fades, take control of the moment. Leave her wanting more, and she'll eagerly await the next opportunity to be around you. When used with intention and respect, this tactic creates a powerful dynamic, and she'll feel the magnetic pull of your absence, longing to reconnect. Number 6. The unspoken gesture, communicating without words. In the world of connection and attraction, words can often be overrated. What if I told you that it's not what you say, but rather what you don't say that can truly capture someone's attention? Consider those moments in life when a simple glance, a lingering smile, or a light touch conveyed more than words ever could. These unspoken gestures are incredibly powerful. They communicate feelings, intentions, and emotions in ways that words sometimes struggle to express. Here's the secret. It's these small, quiet moments that can make a woman feel deeply connected to you. The impact of unspoken moments. Think about how often a woman reflects on how a moment made her feel long after you've parted ways. It's not the specific words exchanged that linger. It's the emotional resonance. This is where the power of subtlety comes into play. By mastering the art of saying less and doing more with your presence, you leave a lasting emotional imprint on her mind. It's not the grand gestures or perfectly crafted sentences she'll replay. It's the connection created through your unspoken actions. A lingering glance, a gentle brush of your hand, or holding her gaze just a moment longer. These small gestures stir something profound. The Stoics understood the value of simplicity and subtlety. They emphasized action over words, showing rather than telling. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, often highlighted how actions speak volumes. The Stoics cherished authenticity and understated moments, believing that sometimes the smallest gestures carry the most significance. When it comes to attraction, your unspoken gestures can resonate more deeply than any compliment or speech. Picture this. You're engaged in conversation with her, and you catch her eye. You hold her gaze. Not too long, but just enough for a spark of connection to pass between you. In that brief moment, no words are exchanged, but a powerful understanding unfolds. Perhaps you share a small smile or let the comfortable silence linger. This creates a moment she won't soon forget. When you leave, she won't be fixating on the words you said. Instead, she'll be replaying that intimate, silent connection, the way you made her feel seen without saying a word. It's often these unspoken moments that leave a lasting impression. They invite imagination, curiosity, and emotional growth. That's when she starts to miss you. The unexpressed emotions invite her to fill in the blanks and wonder about the connection she felt, making her desire more of it. The beauty of subtlety is its ability to linger far longer than any verbal exchange. By embracing these unspoken gestures, you tap into something deeper. You become someone she thinks about, not for what you said, but for how you made her feel. You create a space where attraction transcends words. It's about the moments that speak louder than words ever could. In the realm of relationships and attraction, remember that less is often more. Speak without words, and let your subtle, thoughtful gestures do the talking. The Stoics recognized that true influence arises from what is felt, not always what is heard. By mastering this, you create lasting impressions, leaving her eager for more of those quiet, powerful moments with you. If you've made it this far, you're already delving into a deeper understanding of connection and attraction. Take a moment to hit the like button if this resonates with you, and share your thoughts in the comments below. How do you incorporate unspoken gestures in your interactions? Your insights could inspire others, so feel free to join the conversation. Now, let's continue exploring this journey together. Number 7. Unpredictability in routine. Breaking patterns. If you want to leave a lasting impact and make a woman yearn for more, one of the most effective strategies is to shake up her expectations. We're all creatures of habit. Women, like anyone else, grow accustomed to certain patterns over time. However, when you suddenly shift from the expected, you spark curiosity and intrigue, creating an exhilarating sense of unpredictability. Consider this. When things always unfold in the same way, they can feel routine, even mundane. This is where the Stoic principle of embracing change becomes relevant. Stoicism teaches us that nothing in life remains constant. Change is the only certainty. By applying this mindset to your relationships, you can avoid predictability and keep things fresh and engaging. Imagine you've been texting her daily for a week. She's come to expect those messages, enjoying the attention, but also growing accustomed to it. Now, picture this. You suddenly don't text her for a day or two. This shift in routine disrupts the pattern she's relied on. She'll notice your absence, and instead of feeling comfortable, she'll find herself wondering, why haven't I heard from him? This subtle change can create a powerful effect. It cultivates a sense of anticipation, making her question if something has changed between you. Did she say something wrong? Are you busy, or have you moved on? Whatever thoughts race through her mind, the fact is, you're occupying her thoughts more than ever. That subtle break in routine can lead to increased curiosity and desire for connection. The impact of breaking the routine. By breaking the usual rhythm of your communication, you can spark her thoughts about you far more than if you were texting her daily without fail. This shift introduces a sense of unpredictability while embodying the Stoic practice of detachment. You show that, while you enjoy her company, you aren't completely reliant on her presence or attention. This self-assurance naturally attracts people, making them appreciate the moments they share with you even more. Remember, unpredictability doesn't mean playing games. It's about recognizing the value of change. When done thoughtfully, breaking the routine can forge a deeper connection, one where you're truly missed. Keep her on her toes and let the space you create work to your advantage. Number 8, the power of reclusive mystery. Leaving her curious. We all know that people are inherently drawn to what they don't fully understand, and this is especially true in relationships. When you hold back some of your personal details, you give her something to ponder. Curiosity is one of the strongest magnets of attraction. When a woman can't quite figure you out, her mind fills in the gaps, keeping you on her radar long after the conversation has ended. Imagine you've just started getting to know her, and she asks a casual question about your weekend. The usual response might be a detailed rundown of your activities, where you went, who you met, what you ate. But instead, you opt for a different approach. You smile and say, "It was pretty interesting. Maybe I'll tell you about it sometime." Just like that, you've opened the door for her curiosity to flourish. Now she's left wondering, what was so interesting? Why didn't he share more? The Stoics were masters of minimalism, not only in their lifestyles, but also in their communication. They believed in speaking only when necessary, sharing what mattered, and resisting the urge to overshare. They understood the power of restraint and how keeping some things private can enhance your allure. By applying this principle, you create an air of mystery in your interactions, prompting her to invest more in learning about you. When you leave certain details out or save them for later, you're not being evasive, you're being intentional. By withholding some information, you keep things fresh, interesting, and unpredictable, which creates a magnetic pull. She'll find herself thinking about you more, wondering what you're not saying, and looking forward to the next opportunity to learn about who you are. However, it's crucial to strike the right balance. You don't want to be so vague that it comes off as disinterest. The key is to provide just enough to spark curiosity, while leaving room for her to want more. For example, if she asks about your thoughts on something, share a bit, but save the full story for later. You might say, "I've been considering something intriguing lately, but we can discuss it more later." This keeps the conversation lively and makes her eager for the next chat. Over time, this sense of mystery becomes part of your allure. She'll associate you with the excitement of wanting to learn more, uncovering new layers with each conversation. This strategy works because it taps into fundamental human psychology. We are all attracted to what we can't fully grasp. The Stoics knew that wisdom often lies in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. In relationships, this translates into understanding when to share more about yourself and when to hold back, allowing intrigue to build naturally over time. By leaving her wondering, You not only sustain her interest but also foster a deeper emotional connection. She'll be engaged, curious, and thinking about you even when you're not around. So embrace the power of reclusive mystery. Let her ponder and imagine, and soon she'll be eager to discover what truly makes you tick. This approach is one of the simplest yet most profound ways to cultivate lasting attraction. Now, I invite you to reflect on the role of mystery in your own interactions. Have you ever found yourself more intrigued by someone who didn't reveal everything at once? Consider how that sense of curiosity kept your interest alive. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so please feel free to leave a comment below. Number 9. The inevitable return. Absence makes presence more powerful. Let's delve deeper into something many overlook, the art of your return. After all the subtle disappearances, unfinished conversations that leave her wondering, and those moments where you intentionally fade into the background, something shifts when you reappear. When you return, your presence. The magnified impact of your return isn't just felt, it's amplified. It's not only about being missed, it's about creating a magnetic pull that makes your presence even more cherished. Consider this. When something is always within reach, we often overlook its value. But once it's gone, we start to recognize just how important it really is. This principle, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, teaches us that life thrives on contrasts, pleasure and pain, abundance and scarcity, presence and absence. The Stoics believed that to truly appreciate something, you must first experience its absence. By creating space, you allow her to feel that void and live without you, and that's where the magic begins. She doesn't just miss you. She realizes the significance of your presence in her life. So what happens when you return? You come back, but you're not the same as before. During your absence, you've grounded yourself, built your confidence, and strengthened your sense of purpose. You've been intentional about your distance, whether by texting less or making yourself less available. In that time apart, she has had the chance to reflect, to recognize what she's been missing, and to develop a subtle craving for your presence. You're no longer just someone she likes. You're someone she actively thinks about and can't ignore. When you reappear, your presence feels enhanced. Your interactions carry more weight. She's more attuned to what you say and how you move. The dynamics have shifted. Now she's not just waiting for your text. She's eager to know when you'll reach out again. That's the power of creating absence. It's not about playing games. It's about understanding the natural rhythm of human connection. Absence allows for reflection, and reflection deepens desire. What's essential here is that when you return, you do so from a place of strength. You come back recharged with clear intentions. It's not about being distant for the sake of it. It's about allowing her to realize how much she values you. When you return, it's not just a simple comeback. It feels like a reward. She's not just happy to see you. She's thrilled that you're back in her life. You'll notice a shift in her behavior. She's no longer passively responding. She's actively engaging with you. Her interest has evolved into investment. Her attention, focus, and desire are all aimed squarely in your direction. This is the power of strategic absence. By stepping back, you've created space for her to reflect and appreciate, and when you return, you've solidified your value in her eyes. In relationships, as in life, balance is crucial. The highs and lows, the moments of closeness and distance all intertwine to create something more meaningful. When you come back after creating that space, you don't just re-enter. You do so with enhanced presence, power, and connection. And that's when she's truly hooked. As we wrap up today's discussion, let's reflect on the subtle yet powerful interplay of presence and absence in shaping someone's feelings about you. We've explored intriguing techniques rooted in modern psychology and ancient Stoic wisdom, emphasizing emotional restraint and the strategic use of absence to deepen attraction. These approaches are about creating a lasting impact, not just a fleeting feeling of missing someone. If today's insights resonated with you, I encourage you to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth explorations of relationship dynamics and Stoic philosophy. Your engagement helps us reach and support more people like you. Have you experienced the power of absence in your relationships? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget, there are more videos on screen now that delve into similar topics. Click on them to continue exploring ways to enhance your personal and relational growth. Each video is designed to help you navigate the complex yet rewarding world of relationships with wisdom and insight. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the most significant presence comes from knowing when to be absent.